dogs are training for the hunt. They are the highly skilled Dutch Shepherds and Belgian Malinois of the Honolulu Police Department's K-9 unit. Both dogs are exceptional breeds, and it was a Belgian Malinois named Cairo that parachuted with SEAL Team 6 into northern Pakistan in the 2011 raid that killed Osama bin Laden. When we return, a look into the operation of the HPD K-9 unit and the essential role these highly intelligent and hard-working animals play in today's increasingly complicated and dangerous world. That danger was never more evident than just last year, when two violent standoffs on Oahu nearly took the lives of one K-9 officer and two police dogs.
You were born with a small footprint. You should go through life with one too. Let's be the generation that preserves Hawaii for generations to come. Together, we can reduce our carbon footprint and transition Hawaii to a 100% clean energy future. For the Aina, for Ohana, for our Hawaii. Join us at hawaiianelectric.com/footprint.
Since 1990, Stanford Card Development has succeeded as an award-winning development firm completing over 5,000 units. Our mission to develop quality residential communities that island families call home, providing increased affordable housing opportunities utilizing the latest technology and materials, design distinctive neighborhoods with a broad range of housing for our island communities to live, work, and play, with a passion for architecture and community design.
Stanford Card Development. We know Hawaii and we build for Hawaii.
Every week, union members in carpentry and drywall across the state go to work, building the projects and facilities that improve everyone's quality of life, and in support of fair wages and benefits that will create lifetime opportunities for all of us, now and for generations to come. Let's build a better Hawaii, together. A message from the Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters, Hawaii's Carpenters Union.
With their trainers and handlers, the K-9 unit Dutch Shepherds and Belgian Malinois are part of the Honolulu Police Department's SSD, the Elite Specialized Services Division. The K-9 unit is called out to violent or dangerous situations at least 30 or 40 times a year, often with other SSD units, the SWAT team, the bomb unit, or the helicopter section. The list of different types of calls is a long one. The K-9 unit will help find missing persons, sometimes bodies, and with a natural speed twice that of the fastest man or woman, the dogs are called out to help hunt down and corner criminal suspects. With a sense of smell 40 times that of humans, these unique animals search for drugs, marijuana, meth, cocaine, and heroin, and are able to identify secretive locations where explosives may have been hidden by those looking to do harm. How important are these animals to the police mission?
I mean, their noses are just absolutely amazing. You know, with their noses, and that they can search out drugs, they can search out people. I mean, and just to watch them work, even, you know, if they're being used as attack dogs, you know, how they can go from being so gentle and sweet and, you know, having people pet them to given the right command, you know, that they can, you know, attack someone if that's what, you know, what is needed.
The 55 members of the Honolulu Police Department's Specialized Services Division are under the command of Major Mark Thompson. The dogs are a key element of SSD.
Bomb sweeps, fugitive searches, missing person searches. Because they're taking the lead on that, it makes our job a lot easier.
Sergeant Brad Heatherly heads the HPD K9 unit.
These dogs will work in any environment. And if SSD is there with our manpower as well as our canines, that situation is extremely dangerous. And these dogs are willing to protect us as well as the public in those kind of situations, and willing to put their lives on the line to help us accomplish our mission.
The K9 unit is part of a long and colorful lineage in the Honolulu Police Department. It began as part of HPD's plainclothes Metro Squad in the early 1960s under the late Larry Mayhow, patrolling and bringing order to Oahu trouble spots. Mayhow was a sumo and Aikido expert, as well as a dog trainer. The Metro Squad canines were mostly German Shepherds, trained in kennels in the Kewalo area at the site of the old animal quarantine station. The large size of the dogs was in line with the members of the Metro Squad. Just one example, young policeman Buzzy Hong, who doubled as a lineman on the University of Hawaii football team and weighed close to 400 pounds. In the modern-day HPD K9 unit, some 60 years after Mayhow and the Metro Squad roamed Oahu neighborhoods, there are 8 Honolulu police officers and 8 dogs. The canines are mostly the prized Belgian Malinois, purchased by our officers during trips to the 350-acre Von Leek Kennels in Indiana, considered the premier resource in the nation for providing top-line law enforcement dogs to police and the military. The dogs were originally raised in Europe and have a price tag to our police department of upwards of $10,000 each, but no one disputes that their value exceeds their price. After the initial purchase, there are also maintenance expenses to pay after the 2 to 3-year-old dogs are brought to Hawaii. There is food, medicine, and other related costs. Once settled in Honolulu, the dogs begin intensive and varied training. In every possible scenario, the dogs and officers are sure to encounter in their corner of police work. The dogs must first learn to obey commands.
Obedience is to where we are able to work with the dogs and they're going to listen to us on every command. That's very important, because when we go into aggression work, they must follow our commands, because aggression work for us is bite work. And if we ever had to go into a situation again to where we would have to send our canines in on a bite and we have to stop them immediately, that obedience training comes into play heavily, where they have to obey us at a moment's notice so we can stop them if a suspect decides just to give up right then and there.
Dogs are trained in either narcotics or explosives detection, not both. Of the 8 dogs now in service, 5 are Malinois, 3 are Shepherds, and most of the dogs are trained for explosives detection. Corporal Wayne Silva is one of HPD's 2 canine trainers and also has his own working dog, a 6-year-old Belgian Malinois named Zero. Commands by HPD officers to the Malinois are given in the Dutch language, in line with the dog's original training in the Netherlands, Belgium's immediate European neighbor to the north.
Afleggen. Afleggen is to lay down. So there he goes. He just had to find his space in it. Okay, great.
Dutch.
Good boy, blijf. Yes. When I go up to pick the dogs, we look for the drive of the dog, the hunt, his prey drive, his work abilities, his fear. So we test them. We put them in dark rooms. We put them in a giant box with plastic bottles. We gunfire test them. There's a whole bunch of tests that they have to pass in order for us to select them. So once they come here, we start off with obedience, just letting the handler pretty much get used to handling the dog. And then we throw them right onto odor. That's the first thing. Put them on odor of either narcotics or explosives. And then there's tracking and looking for articles, missing items, missing people, building searches for man, vehicle searches. You know, there's a lot. And you figure we have 8 working dogs. Each one of them has to learn this specific skill, and it's taught to them. So it's not something that's very easy.
The training is rigorous and year-round. The teams of dogs and handlers must be tested over many months and sometimes years before they are approved by HPD trainers to take part in the numerous and varied tasks demanded by SSD work, from luggage and parcel searches to manhunts. The canine working dogs are highly motivated. The dog's obedience to commands is vital to stop when ordered and to control aggression. Contrary to myth, they are not taught to injure or to kill suspects, but rather to hold them until a police handler can take control of the situation. Police and sheriff's canine units sometimes join forces for explosive searches at larger venues such as Aloha Stadium. This search was conducted before rapper Eminem's February 2019 concert in recognition of present-day concern here and around the country of the possibility, however remote, of unexpected danger. After a thorough search by dogs and handlers, officers are relieved. Nothing is found. Next, the bond between animal and human, and after a shooting with an armed suspect, an HPD family must cope with the potential loss of a husband, father, and four-legged best friend.
Matt Levi Investigates is brought to you in part by the Kamehameha Schools, supporting efforts to create safe and healthy spaces for our keiki and communities.
Since 1990, Stanford Car Development has succeeded as an award-winning development firm completing over 5,000 units. Our mission to develop quality residential communities that island families call home, providing increased affordable housing opportunities utilizing the latest technology and materials, design distinctive neighborhoods with a broad range of housing for our island communities to live, work, and play, with a passion for architecture and community design.
Stanford Car Development. We know Hawaii and we build for Hawaii.
And this year's winner, Marcus Mariota.
Mariota is Hawaii's first QB.
Marcus puts the team on his back. Look at Mariota with a vicious block to
Unbelievable! Marcus catches his own pass.
Marcus Mariota! Touchdown!
This isn't my journey. It's ours.
He survived an accident with a neighbor's car. He was lost for 2 years, but with our help, found his way home. Some people say cats have 9 lives. Then it's our job to protect them all. Keep your donations in Hawaii to care for local pets. Hawaiian Humane Society. People for animals, animals for people.
At the end of the day, it's really about coming home from a hard day at work, safe and sound. In 1987, the Hawaii Carpenters Union negotiated the industry's first mandatory drug abuse policy for the safety of our members. 8 years ago, new testing was introduced for faster results right on the job. At work, play, or home, remember, drug and alcohol safety keeps you, yours, and yours to come the picture of good health.
On a recent day at Wilson Elementary School, canine handlers and dogs demonstrate their skill to an appreciative young audience. The dog's takedown of a suspect is always a crowd pleaser. Also on show is the dog's discipline, the result of years of training. Children's eyes are glued to the demonstration, as a single command by the trainer can immediately stop a dog's forceful takedown at any time. These school visits are part of the K9 unit's regular schedule to show the public what the dogs can do and to give the department an image boost. Students also get a glimpse of the close relationship these officers have with their canine companions. It is an exceptional bond.
Just to see the respect that the owner has for the handler has with the dog, and the respect that the dog has for the handler. It really is something that always kind of amazes you, that you can have that type of connection with an animal.
Well, the two of them are extremely tight. They spend every single day together. They're either training as a team here at the academy, or they're at home bonding as a family. The handler bathes them, feeds them, basically cares for them like another child. And the canine is extremely protective of the handler.
We work with them every day. We spend our off time with them every day. We care for them. So our bond between us and our dogs is extremely strong.
Your dog Duke lives with you.
My dog Duke lives with me. He comes home with me every single day and stays with me and my family over the weekend.
Corporal Pete Jones with Wayne Silva is the other of HPD's 2 canine trainers and has his own working police dog, a Belgian Malinois named Hunter.
He literally changed my life and my perspective on animals.
That sentiment is echoed by trainer Wayne Silva.
Tell me about the bond between you and Zero.
It's a love-hate relationship. He's very, very excitable. So at times it's challenging, but I selected him back in 2014 and up in Indiana and been with him ever since. And we've been through a lot together, so needless to say we're close.
That closeness was tested last June when a man barricaded himself inside a North Shore house after threatening neighbors. He was armed with knives and a bow and arrow. After a 7-hour standoff with SSD surrounding the house, Zero was ordered to go in.
Sent him in. So right after that, we entered the residence, and Zero was still trying to engage the male. And we didn't know at the time, but after the incident was over, I noticed blood all over me.
The suspect, who was later shot and died, had stabbed Zero twice with an arrow, piercing an artery. Zero was rushed by Silva to emergency surgery. While Zero has since recovered, in many ways, Officer Silva has not.
If he hadn't made it, what would that have meant to you?
Losing a partner? I've had that happen, so I know that would pretty much be like losing another partner, right? I mean, he's with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last almost 5 years.
Yeah, you're pretty emotional about it.
Nah.
He means that much to you.
Yeah.
Just a month after Zero was stabbed, a man armed with a shotgun barricaded himself inside a house in Nanakuli. SSD was called in when efforts to end the standoff peacefully failed. A neighbor recorded the eventual gunfight. 3 HPD officers were injured. The most seriously hurt was canine trainer Pete Jones. He had been shot in the leg and later underwent 4 surgeries. Police dog Hunter was hit by a shotgun blast from the suspect, who was fatally shot by officers. For wife Stephanie Jones, the early morning message from the scene was the dreaded call just lying below the surface in the minds of every law enforcement spouse. She then had to break the news to her younger daughter, 11-year-old Brooke.
I had to then go into my daughter's room and wake her up, and I woke her up and had to tell her that her dad was shot. But I also had Wayne's words right in my mind, so I told her, he's okay, he's okay. I asked her to just pull herself together, grab her phone, get dressed quickly, and that, one of our friends, my husband's co-worker, would be picking us up.
Looking back on that early morning, Brooke remembers how she spotted her dad when the ambulance drove him to the emergency room at the Queens Medical Center.
I saw him and I ran all the way over there. I was in tears. I just grabbed hold of him, like just not wanting to let go because I felt like he would die, and I was just so scared.
Once she knew her father would make it, Brooke's thoughts turned to Hunter, who lives with and is considered part of the family. The Belgian Malinois had been shot twice, one round buried deep in his neck, and until after surgery, it was thought Hunter might die. If Hunter hadn't survived...
He's a really good friend to me. So I think if he didn't make it, I don't know how, I don't know what it would have been, because he's like always there. And even if I'm like, he's not in the house, just being there for me, he's just super comforting, and he makes me just feel better. And it would have been like, he's like my brother. So if I lost him, I don't know what I would do.
Stephanie, too, thought about life without Hunter if the police dog had not survived the shooting that night.
We would have missed him a lot. I think in the moment I was probably thinking about my husband a little more than the dog, but a part of me was very aware that if we lost the dog, how that would affect my husband after everything they had just kind of gone through together. And so I'm just grateful that that was not the outcome. It would have been very difficult. And honestly, I think it would have made my husband's recovery that much harder.
While Hunter is now back to full strength, Officer Jones has not completely recovered and is still on light duty. He hopes to someday return to full-time at the K-9 unit. For now, there is still work with Hunter, both at the police kennels and at home. The officer does not dwell on the events of that night last summer, which ended in the gunfight with the armed suspect.
Although knowing that he was armed, we trained for that. So we're prepared for what we are going to encounter.
Officer Jones told us he felt the shotgun blast hitting him in the left leg, but that he didn't realize Hunter had also been shot until much later, when Jones was in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. He shared with us how that night changed his life.
I've just realized in my life that this dog, Hunter, actually stood next to me and showed me that he was willing to risk his life along with me, for me. I know that my partners personally would do it, but I've just been able to create a bond between me and him that I never thought I could ever experience with a dog.
Some final thoughts when we return.
Well, I heard Marcus Mariota can throw a football into the clouds.
Well, I heard Marcus Mariota doesn't just help old ladies cross the street. He carries them 2 at a time.
That's ridiculous. Well, I heard Marcus Mariota goes to First Hawaiian Bank. Look! Hi.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Who's got the pen?
You actually have it.
Growing up in Hawaii, my family went to the beach every weekend. Over the years, I've just become accustomed to going surfing and swimming and diving and kayaking, anything that had to do with the water. The first time that I met Emma, I believe it was love at first sight. She is definitely a water dog. The kayak is perfect for us because we can go out, we can cruise around. Emma helps me with my wheelchair. She's able to tug the wheelchair from the shoreline up to the beach mat so that I don't have to pull it back up there myself. She helps out at home quite a bit. She brings a lot of independence to my life. You don't feel alone, you know what I mean? You always have the dog there by your side. She's just very loving and attentive, and she's the best dog I've ever owned, and for sure my best friend.
You were born with a small footprint. You should go through life with one too. Let's be the generation that preserves Hawaii for generations to come. Together, we can reduce our carbon footprint and transition Hawaii to a 100% clean energy future. For the Aina, for Ohana, for our Hawaii. Join us at hawaiianelectric.com/footprint.
Matt Levi Investigates is brought to you in part by Hawaii Pacific Health, creating a healthier Hawaii.
Our time with the HPD K-9 unit drove home to us the valuable role these unique animals play in law enforcement. Their relentless drive to work, their unquestioned willingness to obey commands, and their intense level of protectiveness and loyalty to their HPD handlers. The special place these K9 members hold in the Specialized Services Division seems secure for now, but we asked if the unit was in any danger of being phased out.
Absolutely not. I actually see it increasing. I can see myself asking for more canines, and the reason for that is because of the amount of requests. The way the world is nowadays with all these attacks, both foreign and domestics, the security measures being taken by government officials as well as private companies, especially when it comes to sweeps. Yeah, we need more canines to make sure that we take care of all these requests that are coming in. And I can see the future getting worse.
Searching for narcotics, searching for bombs and that type of thing. Technology isn't going to determine that. I mean, it's not going to work. You still need the dogs to, with their nose and their abilities to make sure that they, get that stuff done.
They'll be with HPD forever.
As long as I'm here, they definitely will be.
Hawaii law recognizes the value of dogs in law enforcement. It is a felony crime to injure or kill a police dog. We had one final question for Chief Ballard.
Dogs are not classified as police officers now. Would you consider classifying dogs as police officers?
I never really thought about that. I know that they have their badge and their bulletproof vest, but to call them an officer, I don't know. That's an interesting idea.
Something you wouldn't be opposed to?
I would be willing to take a look at it.
Retirement from duty for these valuable members of the Honolulu Police Department comes when a dog is around 10 years old, when its odor detection ability and overall health begin to decline. As a testament to the loyalty officers have for their canine partners, after a dog's retirement, the canines are either adopted by their handlers or others in the unit, or they are allowed to live out their lives with care and feeding at the kennels on the grounds of the Honolulu Police Academy in Waipahu. The working dogs of the Honolulu Police Department have a long and distinguished history. Their story is a proud one and will long be remembered by names such as Duke, Zero, and Hunter. Thank you for joining us. I'm Matt Levi. Good night.
Matt Levi Investigates has been brought to you by Hawaii Pacific Health, creating a healthier Hawaii, the Kamehameha Schools, supporting efforts to create safe and healthy spaces for our keiki and communities. First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. The Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters, Hawaii's Carpenters Union, Stanford Car Development, we know Hawaii and we build for Hawaii, and the Hawaiian Electric Companies. You were born with a small footprint, you should go through life with one too. Join us at hawaiianelectric.com/footprint.